Okay, guys. Sorry about that little pause there. Okay, so again, multiple items ordered. You're gonna have multiple dish IDs separated by the little squiggler. Multiple dish names. Now, if you have 2 items, you're always gonna have to use 2 like that. If you have 3 items, you're always gonna have 3 like that. And everything's gonna have 3 to it, as you can see here. Item tax is gonna have 3. Item discount text will have 3, even though there's nothing there. Table number will only have 1. There's some things that only have 1 because it only pertains to the entire order. Person ID will have 3. Restaurant ID will have 1. Kitchen on a whole will have 3. They're always going to be 0. Printed will always be 0 also. PIN number will only be 1, of course. Quantity will be 111. Price, of course, there will be 3. 1 for each price. Tax, same thing. You're not going to be using a surcharge. You can put 000 there. Now here's the interesting part. You have sides, side cost, and topping. Topping name, and then you have topping cost. Okay, now we fixed this in the later editions of the software. We use the mod price, like you saw below. In the new ones, we're using mod, the ID numbers, and the prices. So in the older versions of the software code, we do use the topping. So hopefully you're working with the newer code and you won't have to use the names because it's a little bit more difficult because you're putting the name and then you're putting the cost of each topping. Okay, so it's pretty self-explanatory there. I mean, it's pretty easy. It's just all text in the URL. So you can see temp IDs for all 3 items. You have increases by 1 for each item. Now if I were to take this URL and put it on a browser, you know, it's pretty simple to ahead and copy and paste the URL. I hit enter, and you'll notice that once I send it, it tells you it added each item into the system. And the simple ID, which it would print out on the check, which is your order number, is 6 for each item. So I mean, it's pretty simple. It's all URL based. As long as you code it all correctly, it's pretty simple. That's going to go through and be correct. Okay, now after you're done ordering the items, next is okay, if you want to see what's on the menu. So if you take this URL, put the session ID, and the restaurant ID is always going to be 8, and the date in Unix time, it's going to spit out what's on the order. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Next is payments. It's pretty easy. You just put the URL, put the restaurant, put the session ID, okay, and then you put the type of payment, which is most likely always going to be credit card for you. So you just type in AMT_credit equals and the amount of the credit payment. Very simple. There's also a tip line right here. Note, you must always send 1 URL for each thing. So if you do credit, the next URL is a tip. You can't do both on the same URL. So you always have to send 2 times if you do have a tip. And of course the time in Unix time. That's pretty simple for payments. Now, to close the order, it is order.asp. You got to put the person's PIN number closing the order. We'll have to send you a web PIN number. You got to put the session ID. You got to put the total price of the item, of the cost, and just follow everything else here. It's pretty self-explanatory, the date and the amount for the credit, and that will close the order. Once you're done closing the order, you're done. The only other thing you have to look at right now is how do I find all the items, all that information. Now, what you would do is you ask the customer who you're doing it for, and you say, what is your domain name that you use for your admin console? So you put that there, and the rest is like that. mobiletech.com/export iPad data 1. And you go in here and you want to view the source. It's all in XML format. It's pretty simple. Okay, you got to ignore the first part. You don't need it. And you got to come down to where it says main menu, and it starts. Main menu gives you the name of the top category, tells you it's the menu. Submenu start. This is a submenu. It's chicken chunks. Menu ID, that's the product ID number. Product name, description, tag, and price. And then it goes into the printer it's supposed to print to. It tells you, gives you all your options, gives you all your modifiers. So everything is found in the XML file. If you guys need any more help, just let me know. But everything is there that you need to send to the server. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.